What's up YouTube? Welcome back to another video. Today we're doing something for the interior of the car. We don't normally do a lot of interior things for the car. We got Yuki here. She's up on jack stands right now for a future project, but for now she can stay on jack stands while we do this project. Like I said, we don't do a lot of interior mods. However, this one I've been wanting to do for a while, and it fixes the one thing that really irked me about the interior on these cars. And that's where we're changing out that center console, that radio system right here, with the Dynavin touchscreen whatnot. So we'll go ahead and do a little unboxing. Welcome to my unboxing channel, right? Then we'll go ahead and do the installation and see about installing a backup camera as well, because once you have it, it's hard to not have it. All right, so like I said, this right here will fix one of the biggest things I kind of had an issue with on these Mustangs was just that the interior was so boring. First things first, what we got here? Trash. More trash. And here we go. Ah, just look at that view. Look at this thing. So the very popular ones are this one here, and then the something else. But American Muscle has the something else. This one isn't on American Muscle that I know of, or at least not the time of this video. It was either between this one and that one. I feel like this one just had a better overall experience with all the people that already have it, but they're pretty much the same thing. I think this just has slightly different software and maybe a little bit of a different layout down here. I'm looking at this and it looks pretty straightforward on the installation. There's not a lot of doohickeys back here, so it should be pretty straightforward there. And then we've got this other box right here that seems to have all of our actual wires. That's got all of our wires and our little card here to add navigation, which we're not gonna actually, I'll put it in, but I don't actually use that stuff. I use my phone. And then we'll also go into how to use the shaker system. Since this is a GTCS, it's got the shaker in there. It's also got heated seats, so we'll go into information about that as well. But I think it'll be a pretty straightforward process. With the successful unboxing that I just did, next step, or first step actually, is to remove the old unit that isn't really that great, so I'm not gonna cry about it. I think the only good part about this is that it has Bluetooth, right? Other than that, yeah. So it's gonna be pretty easy. First step is to pop this doohickey open, and then we're gonna pry up right here and pop this whole centerpiece out. That'll allow us to get to, I think there's 2 bolts here, as well as some clips. But first thing, panel poppers, just pull that right up, really easy. Once you got this doohickey loose right here, you gotta come up underneath here where we've got our 3 buttons here. There's an electrical connection that we're gonna go ahead and unplug. There's no way I'm gonna get enough light in there, but it's real simple. Just reach your hand up there and you'll feel where she comes off. I feel like we should also remove this, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that so I don't forget. I guess one thing I forgot about was the electrical connection that goes to the actual cup holder for the lighting in there. But this was the electrical connection I was referring to for those 3 buttons. We're also gonna remove that one. Whoopsies. All right, we're moving pretty quick here. This is already gone. I went ahead and left one of the wires on there. Didn't really need to be taken off. We can just move it to the side. But next step looks like you have these 2 screws down here. They look like there are 6 or something right there and there. I believe that's where it gets a little tricky. Not tricky, but like nerve-wracking, because I believe you just pull the rest of it out, which is always terrifying to do because you feel like you're gonna break something. If I break something, I'll let you know. If I don't, then yay. Cool beans, checking in, didn't break anything yet. What I found that worked the best though was I took this doohickey here and I really just shoved it into the side here and kept a prying pressure. And this is a little bit movable or squishy or whatever, so it kind of just worked. And then I eventually, popped out like that. And look at that, there's only one connection holding that in, so we'll go ahead and take that out, and then we'll take out this giant freaking DVD player and little tiny screen. So with the actual display unit here out, very easy, just this one right here, and you've got plenty of room to get to it. As far as this though, the antenna, I believe that's the antenna, and that's what was giving me the biggest issue. It just doesn't have enough play to pull this out in order to see everything you're disconnecting. Honestly, they all have clips, so they're not that difficult. This is the only one that doesn't have a clip, and you just pulled it out, like straight out. And that's it. This is actually pretty light too, so I thought it was gonna be a little heavier. Now to find the sync module for the Bluetooth. So as far as getting the glove department down to the way it is now, it's pretty easy. All you have to do is, if I get some sort of light going on, take your hand here, as well as take your hand on the other side here, and apply pressure inwards. and it'll undo the latch. Normally up here like that, you just apply the pressure inwards and get it out of the way just as easy like that. Now we're gonna go up and under there. All right, now that I'm better situated on this side, we'll go ahead and show you where that module link thing is with the worst lighting ever. It's right on top there as soon as you come in, and that's the wire that we're trying to get right there. So just, yeah. That was actually super painful to get, but it's finally out. Here's what it looks like. There's the wire from the link right there. Now the wire that you're going to use to get your audio to work is going to be one of two from what it looks like. You either got the iLink Pro, which is if you want your Apple CarPlay and this, that, and the other, which I think is the case that we're going to use here, or you got your standard media under this rat's nest of wires, which is just this. All right, now that I've got a little bit better situated, they both come from right up here. However, I believe you can only use one. So this is going to be your standard media, and this is going to be your Apple products. So I know I said this was trash earlier. It's actually very useful in determining this. From this out port here, you're gonna follow it, and if you're gonna use the iLink Pro like we are, you're gonna collect it to iLink Pro right here, and then you're gonna keep going, and it's gonna connect to another iLink Pro, like so. Why they couldn't just make that one wire and twist tie it up, I don't know, but you had to make two other connections. Then what we're gonna do is we're gonna take this wire, which is the one that similar to the one we just disconnected from the sync module. This is called MTS3. You're gonna connect this to our iLink Pro here, or your media, whichever one you're using, through this USB port, and then the one that looks really weird is gonna connect back to our sync module, which is what we just disconnected. Or actually, I'm lying, totally lying. It's not gonna connect to our sync module, it'll connect to the thing that we just unplugged from our sync module, is what I meant to say. Boom, words mean things. At least I think that's how it's gonna work. So we're gonna go ahead and freaking try it out and see what we do, and how she works with this, all these wires. Now, all right, once you've plugged in that one MTS wire into your thing, I've figured out which wires you're gonna need by scratching my head for a little bit, and I've separated them into three piles. You got your need pile, you've got your I don't need that pile, and you've got your might need this pile, and I'll get to that in a second, explain what's going on. I'm gonna go ahead and tell you what I'm gonna use, and then I'm gonna tell you exactly where I'm gonna plug it in, and then we'll go from there. So first thing first, since this is close, I'm gonna grab this one. This right here is gonna be for your backup camera, which I'm not gonna really do today, but I'm gonna need it later. So that's gonna go, and it's gonna go right in there, just like that, off to the side, in this tiny thing, you know, the only place it would fit. The next thing we need would be possibly the main wiring harness, and I'll get to why I said possibly in a second, so we'll just set that to the side actually. The next thing you would need, or specifically for me, would be the antenna base here, right? Because I want to keep the functionality of the radio, because sometimes I just don't feel like listening to my own music, right? And that's gonna go right here, right here where the antenna goes. So just like that, and it clicks right into place. Easy day. The next thing, which is probably going to be the most important thing for some of you guys, is the iLink Pro or your media, depending on which one you want to use. I'm using the iLink Pro, so that's what we're going to do here. We're going to take this doohickey here, and we're going to plug it into the one that says iLink Pro. So this one right here. You can do a little plug with a one-handed plug and look dumb with the hands not working. Okay. All right, with that all plugged in, we're just going to set this to the side. Remember, this is for you can use one or the other from what I've seen so far. Now back to the main one. This is where we can get kind of tricky. All right, you've got they call these A and B. They're your main switches here, and this deals a lot with your audio, but more so for this one. This tiny one deals a lot with audio. If you're confused on which one goes on top, well, I've got news for you. It can only go in one way because the connector pins are right there. So it only goes in like so. All right, and it clicks right in. You can't mess that up. Cool. From there, we're gonna take our little tiny one here, and it's go into our little tiny one that's already on the unit, like that. Just gotta line it up and make sure it's in the right direction.
You can tell that this one has a little bit of a notch on top, and that's gonna go directly under our little thing here. So that's how you know that's lined up properly. And if I'm going too fast, you just go ahead and rewind the video real quick and rewatch that. But I'm trying to get as best of a shot as possible. Now here's where we can get a little tricky. All right, you've got your main connectors here, and only 2 of them are going to be used. Your main one and this one for most cases. This isn't really going to be used, I don't think. If it's there, go ahead and plug it in. But I don't remember. And then you've got your 2 over here. This is your subwoofer and whatnot, and this is your something mid input. All right, so for subs and whatnot. So this setup right here has been told to me from them that this will work. However, this may not work on all cars. You may have to mess around with this, and that's why we come into our maybes here. So may have to use this. And remember way back when I started saying that this had to deal with a lot of audio, and this could deal with audio as well. So if you plug this in and you have a shaker system and your subs aren't working, that's when you may need to use this. At least that's my understanding behind it. This right here is your what's it called? Amplifier retention. This right here would plug in to your A here, the purple wires, your A. So you would unplug this and you plug it into your amplifier retention. They got the same connectors, right? That's how we figured that one out. As far as these are your left rear, front right, whatever. You know, they're all your 4 spots that would plug into here. Boom, like that, right? This is just your inputs, right? So your front left out, this, that, and the other. So it would come out of this small one here on the far right. All right, it would come out of there. It would go into here, and then your A would be connected to here. And what I'm referring to on A is this. Actually, I guess it's B. So it's B right there. So B is the top one, that purple wire one. You would plug it into there. And actually, if you read it, it actually says to do it there too. But I didn't read that. Probably would have saved me a lot of time if I just read this thing, but and then you just take your sub, which I mentioned earlier, from your main, right here it says sub, right, green, and you would plug it into here as well, where it says subwoofer, right here. So yeah, that's all that you need, you might need, and then what I decided I didn't want was the Sirius XM stuff, and then the media stuff that, I don't need because I'm using the iLink Pro. And then the GPS stuff, I don't care about that. This is, and then we got the microphone, which, obviously plugs into the little 3.5 millimeter aux jack or whatever it's called, and then we'll just route that somewhere. Again, what you need, what you might need, and then I don't want that. I'm gonna go ahead and see if this works. If it does, great. If not, also great, because I can show you exactly what I'm talking about on wiring that up. So I'm gonna go ahead and position this in. I know this has been a lot of talking, but I hope that this kind of clears things up and makes the install very smooth for you guys. All right, here we go with one hand again. So our little iLink Pro, we're gonna feed right through there, through our glove department, or whatever it's called. Fish it out, and we're gonna plug it in right into our MTS3 that we've plugged into that one cable that we unplugged from our sync module. So it's a lot of plugging and unplugging here. So that thing plugged in, I know it looks like a complete rat's nest, but all 3 plugs from the main wire were used to be plugged in. Now, the only thing to do, actually I forgot the antenna, so I'll go ahead and do that. But then, the next thing to do is just to try it out and see if music comes out, right? Or at least we get some sort of power to it. I don't think this gets plugged in anywhere. I haven't seen anything about it, so we're just gonna leave that there. But I'll get that antenna and then we'll try it out. Moment of truth. We got lights down here. Blasting freaking the thing. How do I turn that down? That works. Turn that off. Now what about the music? So we're not actually gonna get anything for Bluetooth because I completely forgot to pair it with the new system and unsync from sync. We'll see if we can listen to the radio real quick. Oh, static, cool. So the music does work, the radio works, everything works. That means the antenna's plugged in properly. However, I don't know if you guys can hear this, but we've got some noise coming from our subs here, which means I have to do the wiring thing, the maybe thing that I was telling you about earlier. So I get to show you guys how that's gonna work, how I think it's gonna work. But yeah, we got this terrible, annoying noise that I have to go in and change some of the wires in order to get rid of. So, hey, good on you guys. You guys get to see the whole different thing, but a little bit more work for me. So, first step, like I mentioned before, remove the A and B. The B is on top, so it's that, I guess it's that purple one, right? I guess they both have purple. It's the top one, all right? B is the top one, all right? Then, you take your amplifier retention harness and you plug it into B. Now that you got it plugged into B, you're gonna take this doohickey, the one without the yellow, and you're gonna plug it into, I think it's the far right. Oh, there goes the quick save there, almost dropped that. But this right here, the one without the yellow, is gonna go into this far right one, I believe. Just like that, click, click. And then, obviously, oh, not having the best luck here, just fell twice. So I'm gonna be quick before this falls again. So green, just basically green goes to green. This is on the main. This green is on the main. And then you take your amplifiers and just line up front to front, back to back, right, left, left, right. Oh, you know, line that up with the one we just plugged in to the right here. Again, a rat's nest, but everything's connected. I went ahead and connected A from the main harness back into the radio unit right here, and that should do the trick. So next, with the turn of the key, we should have gotten rid of this this little tone or humming or static that we were hearing. On the upside, I don't hear the tone anymore. However, the audio quality sucks. It is way over boosted. So I'll see if I can go ahead and mess around with this, because the overall volume of the music was low, but the bass was way too high. So a little bit of configuring needs to happen, but the tone is gone. So in order to fix the drone that I had, I added the retention wires, which are here, right? I added the retention wires, and it made the audio absolutely terrible. It got rid of the drone, but everything else was just terrible. So I messed around with it a little bit more. I ended up removing the retention wires because the drone is bearable compared to how it sounded before. So I have the basic setup, what I did to begin with, and that's what it's at now. With all that being working and everything, I'm gonna go ahead and slide everything back in, put her all together, and we'll call it a day. Easy day. And just like that, we are done. It is completely installed, completely done, and it looks amazing. Look at this thing. I got my freaking sunlight here shining bright on this. The little fingerprints already, but not an issue. It works. All the controls down yonder here work. The music works. Everything works, and it looks good. It looks great. Anyways, guys, that's it for this video. I hope that I was able to help you guys install this a little bit better, to add a little bit more clarity to the whole thing going on. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like. And if you want, please subscribe. You can always change your mind later. It's completely free. And until next time, I'll see you guys later.